Jannik, we knew that some of those players would leave. Did that have an impact on the last season, that there was a sense that players are not perhaps fully committed anymore, or there's already this transition is already happening in the season? And was it one of the reasons you think that Daniel Farke had such a hard time? Because on paper, he looked, with his possession style, the ideal coach for this team, yet it didn't really work out so well for him.
Like sporting director Roland Wirkus mentioned it as one of the big reasons that at the beginning of the season, half of the squad didn't know how its future was going to be, if they were going to leave, stay, extend their contract, whatever. So yeah, of course, this is going to play a role, but Gladbach also has kind of been used to this in the past years. Adi Hütter had the same problems. Okay, you could say, well, if these problems have been there for such a long time, they might lie deeper in the club and not be the coach's problem. I think Daniel Farke, of course, had a hard time, but as I said, he's not been the first one having a hard time in Gladbach in recent years. There could have been a chance for him to have a future, but I think he was not pragmatic enough and not maybe also willing to adapt his style in some way to make things possible, and to start rebuilding the team already within this season. So he stuck to players like Rami Benzibaini and Marcus Thuram, who everybody knew were leaving the club. For example, German talent Luca Netz barely got any minutes as left back on the Benzibaini position. So yeah, it's really complicated. And then, Farke maybe was not always clever in his communication, not always on point, and also lost the backing of the fans in the end, also of the club leaders. So yeah, complicated situation. He was some kind of a victim, but not only.
There were some terrific results last season, beating Bayern, beating Borussia Dortmund, for example, some good matches, some even great matches. But we had the view over the season that there was a huge frustration around the club. How do you see it?
Yeah, certainly. In February, when they beat Bayern Munich, the fans were not even able to be happy about it, as you might expect when you beat Bayern Munich. Okay, with 11 against 10, but still, a victory against Bayern is always a day to celebrate. But people were like, why are they performing this way only against opponents like Bayern, Dortmund? They also beat Leipzig 3-0 at home, or in the derby against Köln. So they were proven right in the next week when they lost 4-0 at Mainz 05. So yeah, that's maybe a good example how Gladbach's last season went. The players sometimes admitted that they it's easier for them to reach 100% or even more against opponents like Bayern. But the reason this team is built like this, or has an attitude like this, is also, I think, a result of the squad management in past years, that this team has been together for such a long time. Not many new players coming in. So yeah, that's also a symptom of all the problems Gladbach has.